Hi traders, I'm going to try and keep this video short and simple. There's only one thing that I want to focus upon, and it is your mindset in relation to strategies, right? So we've spoken about mindset on and off throughout the various videos. Many of you are familiar with this whole concept of mindset, being positive, thinking, focusing on your goals, focusing on 100% hits, that sort of stuff. That's all good and well. I think there's a significant part of that whole mindset formula that often is left out, and that has to do with the emotions of losing or the actual losses. And I will touch upon that in a separate video. What I wanted to talk to you about in this present video is strategies itself and how you approach it via your mindset. Now, here's one thing that I want you to really truly understand. I touched upon this in the previous video. I haven't seen too many people speak about this. It's this: every single strategy that you will come across, even the ones on my channel, okay, there's a good handful of strategies on my channel down here. Now, all of them, from the 61.8 ratio one to the EMA 6 one to even the Euro USD ones, okay, all of these strategies work. Now, if you go onto Google, if you search the internet, you're going to come across thousands of strategies. All of them do work. Okay, there's very few of them that you would come across and you'd say, this is all entirely rubbish. The difference between whether a strategy gets implemented and works and whether the strategy gets implemented and fails is in the trader's ability to apply the strategy to the perfect market conditions. Okay, the analogy that I've used with various people that I've spoken to over the phone and trained is simply that, if you into team sports, right? Say for instance, take football or well, being Aussie, let me stick to a rugby league, for example. Okay, it's a team sport. It's like similar to rugby union. Now, how I approach it is to say the game itself is the markets, right? The teams that are part of the league is the currency pairs that you're playing. Now, you are a team in itself, and so you go up and you play against the various teams. Now, if it's raining on that day, that's a specific type of market condition. That's what we're looking at. If it's a great hot day, then you got to look at it this way: certain teams play really well in different weather conditions, right? With you yourself, the difference within this whole trading game is that you can approach the market and you can play the game that you want to play in the market conditions that you want to play in. So, first of all, you understand what market conditions you do really well in. When you're familiar with a specific setup or like a set of conditions in the market, well, then you're comfortably able to play that. Now, if say the coach comes up with a particular type of tactics, those are players, right? In the trading game, would refer to them as strategies. So you'd say, okay, here's a particular type of market condition. The market is setting up in a nice way. All of my criteria meets, so I get to decide now what strategy do I want to apply to this. So that's how you're going to approach this, where it's not as simple as just saying, hey, here's a strategy, let's just apply it to whatever and it should work. If it's applied to the wrong market conditions, obviously it's not going to work. So let's jump onto the charts and just have a quick look at something along these lines. Remember in the market cycle video that I touched upon, say for instance, we are, let me pick, I think it's the Euro USD that was going up and down. Okay. Say for instance, here we've got a double bottom and the market is very nicely moving up, right? This goes up and then there's a pullback, right? And say, for instance, I want to apply a strategy that's going to, say for instance here, whether I'm looking for a double top straight away. The market goes up, here's a wick to the high and the market starts coming down. And I want to apply my that double top strategy of where the market's going to start tanking, right? Now, the market conditions are completely wrong here for me to be able to do that. One, this is during the second half of the New York session, and what that says to me is the market's going to be pretty much dead for the next few hours, which you see here. That's the first thing, wrong market conditions. The second thing is where when I'm looking at the double bottom here and a significant climb, then by right, given the market cycle, what I should be looking at is where the market's going to pull back and then start climbing again. Now, I could say the market will pull back to the EMA 50 or the EMA 200, or I could grab my Fibonacci and I could draw, say, from here to here, and I'd say, okay, this market's dropped till about 23.6. I might assume that it will come down to the 38 mark, and we've got our EMA 50 and EMA 200 at this point as well. So we'll say, hey, there's confluence. So I'd project that the market will come back down here before it goes back up again, right? Now, if I then say, well, this is still going to continue down here, I'm still applying a strategy to the absolute wrong market conditions. And so this is where the success or failure rate differs, where it's more important on my ability to be able to accurately understand what the market conditions are and then go ahead and apply a strategy to it. Here's another prime example here. Now, let me get rid of this. At this stage, I've got no idea what's making a Euro USD pair tank like this all of a sudden. Some people will say, hey, you know what? Let's do Shiva's reversal strategy, for example. Say, for instance, this was the 61.8 line was somewhere here, and we'd say, okay, let's jump in. We'll do a reversal off this trade. Now, without knowing accurately why the market has decided to tank, it could be a news release, it could be the market doing something else. Who knows, right? At this stage, without analyzing, I've got no idea. Now, without understanding the market circumstances, without understanding or having some idea as to where the market may go, there is no way for me to be able to even pick a strategy that I've got on my channel that I would want to apply to this, right? So I could pick any of those strategies and jump in and say, okay, this is what's going to happen, and I could end up losing that trade, and they'll say, this strategy sucks. It doesn't. It comes back down to your ability to be able to pick the market conditions accurately, and then your ability to apply the right strategy to the right circumstances at the right time. Okay? Please understand that bit accurately. What you're doing whilst you're demoing, whilst you're studying the charts and doing your analysis, and then also studying any losses, analyzing the losses, is trying to become more familiar with the market to the point where you are aware of market conditions as they happen. When we're doing the analysis, it's got nothing to do with how the market's behaving or whether or not certain indicators are lining up or anything along those lines. It's truly our ability to be able to understand the pulse of the market so that you can go ahead and say, okay, if I apply this strategy because I truly believe this is going to meet to the perfect timing to what else was there to the structure of what the market is doing, then you pretty much won't go wrong. Okay, if you do all of these things accurately, there's going to be very few moments where you walk away with a losing trade where you say, I don't know what the hell happened there. Okay, so if you analyze enough, you will always know why you've lost the trade. Okay, so even things like this, you're on a downtrend, market's pushing up, you've got an evening star pattern happening here, and you've got the EMA 50. The EMA 50 is crossed under the EMA 200. This to me says this is a continuation of a downtrend. We've got no significant pattern deformity, and what I mean by that is where you've got a double top pattern happening here and the market's tanking. So you've got your 1, 2, possibly 3. This is possibly the 4th one, and this continues to go down, right? Now, if the market is pushing up here and then bouncing off the EMA 50, that's more confluence for us. So I understand market structure is happening here. The market is behaving in the way that I expect it to behave. So then I will then go and choose an appropriate strategy to then apply to this. Okay, So I say just this last bit again before I turn this video off, is that it's what you're focusing on upon right now is your ability to be able to select the right market conditions and then to choose the appropriate strategy to apply to that market condition. So a lot of people are looking at it back to front. It's where you're looking at just the strategy and you're just blatantly putting it up and applying it to any market condition. So please have a look at your mindset in regards to that, and then apply it to the market cycle stuff and apply it to all the other knowledge that you have, and you should do well with it. I'm going to create the next video that I'm going to do after this one is when is the best time to be taking specific trades, okay? And I will try and cover all of the strategies that I have on my channel, okay? Hope that makes sense.